resume the PC Game Conference. Quick reminder, we'll have the PC Gamer Conference. It'll be followed by the Ubisoft Conference. We'll have a bunch of special
I suppose
stuff
if the
within the studio, finishing
if the
things
Scorpio
off with
specs
Sony, and then
are
Double
like that,
Fine as well. So plenty
you'll be
of
getting
stuff
into the
to
problem of
keep yourself occupied throughout the day here on Day Zero.
games
Don't
holding the
forget,
developers back.
tomorrow, Tuesday, starts our official coverage
Sorry,
on the
the old
Expo Floor, Day 1,
machines
2, and 3.
holding the
Hard to believe
developers
that we haven't
back, and then
actually
you'll get the
started
same
E3
argument
yet.
that you get
It is
from
the unofficial,
PC gamers nowadays. You know, saying that
I'm not sure if
the
we
games don't look
are
as good
okay
because
to
they're
go
being
back.
made for consoles in mind.
No, okay.
No, but
that's
now's a great time to remind everyone to use the hashtag
It's
E3
different
on
balance,
Twitch
isn't
to
it?
talk to us here on
Yeah,
the
I've
social
just
media desk, because we'll be coming back
I stopped
after
it and
the
restarted
conferences
it
to
so
take your
we
thoughts.
can
We'll blow
just
up here
stop
on
the
screen. So
PC
if you
one
want
if
a
it's
couple more
crap.
followers, you got something really clever, you're a funny person, tweet at us. We want to know about
We'd
it.
like to hear it. And I have been keeping my eye on Twitter as well.
She's got
It's
sweet
always
hair.
interesting during E3 to see what people are excited about. And, you know, like a lot of, you know, who's jumping on the bandwagon of what game. Like, I'm jumping on a few myself. But, you know, so far, the interest level in E3 is still at an all-time high. The folks, that, like a lot of viewers, it looks like you guys have already broken last year's record in terms of who wants to watch E3. So, well done. We didn't get to deep dive too much into Microsoft before because we were going, and I know there was a bunch of tweets. Was anyone talking about the design?
I love to deep dive.
Because I still think that
Chris,
was one
that's
of
a
the
bit
coolest
harsh.
things that
They were, Marcus, and I am just as disappointed in you as I am in them because we have so many wonderful games coming up, and you like the pretty colors. What is it about the pretty colors?
You know what? The pretty colors were good, but then the moment it was like my name was on
quite
it,
a chin.
Okay,
I turned to Swifter. I'm like, I never have to use a Sharpie again.
The lady.
Because, you know, that's,
Well, especially you got brothers and sisters or something.
plus, it just rubs off. If you're like a real, you know, like all my
Sort of a Helen Hunt thing going on as well.
Somebody's always trying to be like, this one's yours. I'm like, that's the broken one. That one's yours. You
And
know?
then like what do you do when you have like the?
Oh, I
the
want
original
Cuphead
Xbox One
as well.
controllers where
That's the last.
Has that got like a weird?
metallic Sharpie.
Has that got like a weird VHS filter over the top of
We
it?
have that,
They've
And it's a
somehow
great
managed to get it
pro-gamer
to
feature.
look
So many pro
like
teams with
a
their
sort of like
specialized colors are gonna be able to get the
1940s,
names all printed
50s
out. That's gonna look real
cartoon.
nice.
You were also over
Yeah.
here, and I didn't get a chance.
I don't know
to,
if it's
like,
the
really
engine or if
chat with
it's
you about it, but,
if, like you
I
say, it's like
think
some kind
the
of filter
game
or
that people
something,
were the
but it
most
looks pretty
excited for,
cool.
based off of Twitter sample, was Sea of Thieves.
It was really crazy. And you know what part of it was, too? Because the way they showed Sea of Thieves, they showed a bunch of streamers playing the game. And, you know, that's the best way to sell me on a game. If I want to...
Wow, they're saying
I wanna
Sea
see
of
who's having
Thieves
fun.
was the most
We'll talk
popular
more
one.
about that in just a second.
Really?
We've got the PC Gaming
On Twitter.
Showcase feed back, so enjoy it. We'll see you afterwards or after Ubisoft. Have a great day zero. Don't go away.
Well, Chris, you don't have to buy all of them. I'm
Oh, you
also,
do.
I'm tempted, like, for the NX, I think I'll probably hold off for the first year, because I always get fucking burnt on the price if I buy it immediately. And yeah, the Neo and the Scorpio are going to depend A on price and B if they're add-ons or not, because I'd like them to just be able to bolt onto the top of the current machines. Plus, it depends on how big of an upgrade it is. You know, if the PS4 is running most games at 1080 anyway, I don't know if guaranteed 60 frames a second is going to make me pay another £300 or £400. I don't care that much. It's nice to have higher frame rates and resolutions, but it's not I don't care that much. Oh yeah, no, 1080p to 4K is massive, but you've got to understand like how many people have actually got 4K tellies as well. Because currently there's nothing, is there, as far as 4K stuff goes. You've just got like nature films again, or like PC games. But even then, it's not for the masses, is it? It's for people that want to pump tons of money into their PC.
I wish 4K was just called 2K.
Yeah, because it's
1080p. It's 20
it's 23 something, isn't it?
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn this shit down again. But yeah, no, it's a big jump. It is a big jump in. But actually, I'll be honest, I haven't seen 4K running yet, so I can't comment. I'm sure it does
I've seen
look great.
The Martian running in 4K, and it looks very similar.
Was it actually 4K or was it upscaled 4K?
No, it's on a new Blu-ray 4K player
Right.
with a 4K player disc of The Martian. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? It's just there's a couple of Netflix shows, isn't there? But you have to pay for a separate
It's back
subscription.
extra.
Yeah. It's just a very weird way of doing it. You'd think like if you wanted 4K to take off, you wouldn't charge an extra subscription so people could use it.
No.
Oh, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, that looks gash. Way to ruin that. Actually, have you seen? Do you see the screenshots?
Gash in the shell.
Gash in the Shell. You see the sort of the leaked photos of Scarlett Johansson as Major Kusanagi.
I saw bits. Yeah.
Yeah. Please don't fuck it up. Please.
Yeah. Well, aren't we meant to have a live action Akira at some point as well?
I think that's on the shelf forever. Probably.
James Cameron was good. What's James Cameron's next movie going to be?
Well, actually, I was going to say, have you ever heard of Battle Angel Alita?
The anime.
They did the short OVA. It was like,
Right.
yeah, but the actual book goes on for like ages after that, and it's really really cool. They're doing a live action film of that,
Okay.
and I think James Cameron's involved in it
Okay.
somehow.
The well, Akira, that's like 3 books long, and Akira, the actual thing is, the movie was only book 1, so.
It's like 6 or is it 6 books or 8 books?
I thought it was 3 books. But...
I think it's a lot. I can't remember.
Okay.
I haven't actually read all of it.
A lot of shouting.
A lot of shouting.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, in Akira.
Yes.
I thought you meant the PC gaming show.
That as well. No one's there.
John, if we watch this, we're not going to have a gap between this and Ubisoft.
Okay.
So
Let's
we-
stop it.
do you want to play it by ear?
And well, if we can, if we do stop it, we'll have it, and we watch it, we'll have something to talk about at the beginning of the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Up to you.
I'll see how the first little bit goes.
We'll find out in 5 seconds. Go.
Oh, the stream's died. Perfect.
Mine's fine.
No, it's back. Let's see if any more news has come up.
Your stream seems to be always ahead of mine.
It's weird considering I'm streaming as well, with your connection too.
Yeah. Is yours on like the maximum quality?
What, the bit rate?
What if you
the
right click
stream?
on the options on the cog?
On the Twitch
On
stream, you mean?
Yeah.
I've got it on source, so it's at the highest.
Yeah.
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 I'm just having a look, see if I can get Tekken for free yet. Are you free? Yes, it is free, John.
Bosh. Okay.
If you want to get in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PC Gaming Show!
That's cool because yeah, Tag Tournament 2 is really expensive to buy still.
Day 9, I will be your host for today's show. Good
Let's turn
morning.
this
It's so
up.
wonderful to have you here. Hello to all of you on Twitch. I'm so glad you typed in the right URL to be here. Huge thanks again to PC Gamer and AMD for putting on the show again, huh? In this beautiful theater that honestly looks like a level from Diablo 3, I'm excited because it's the day before E3, which for a gamer is basically the day before Christmas. And we're going to kick it off on day 0 with 100 minutes of PC-focused content where we're going to be bringing in guests to talk about all
100
sorts
minutes.
of exciting updates and exclusives that I can't wait to share with you. So without any further ado, for all of you here in the audience, for all of you at home, join me this morning and let's celebrate PC gaming.
The cringe is real.
Let us begin.
Better
Time to
change
bring
it to
out our
PC
very
gaming instead of
first
Xbox
guests,
conference.
who are
as
going
well.
to be introducing the third incarnation in their famous RTS series, Dawn of War. From Relic Entertainment, join me in welcoming Philip Boole and Brent Disbrow. Welcome, please join me. Hi, good to see you, Philip.
Good to see you.
Brent, hello.
Yeah, hello.
And of course, Space Marine, hello. Yes. It wouldn't be Dawn of War without a Space Marine looming behind our conversation. So, right away, I gotta ask. Dawn of War 1, much more base building focus. Dawn of War 2, much more squad focus. What's the direction Dawn of War 3 is going in?
Well, with Dawn of War 3, we're taking those proven mechanics, those proven gameplay styles of the epic battles of Dawn of War 1 and the elite heroes of Dawn of War 2. And we're putting them together with a whole bunch of new mechanics we're introducing that we think is going to create an entirely exciting new version of Dawn of War.
And I understand we have some gameplay footage to show off right away.
We do. For the very first time, we're getting to show gameplay footage from Dawn of War 3. I am so excited to finally be able to share this with all of you, everyone watching at home. It's going to be awesome.
Now, keep in mind, this is still in development, so we shouldn't rush to judgment immediately, but let's go ahead and totally do that with this first look at Dawn of War 3 gameplay.
Everyone will.
Without a doubt. Again, sadly, I find it very difficult to get excited about strategy games.
Unless you put Halo on it.
I'm on my way, but it's just me.
Don't be reckless. Wait for backup.
There's no time.
They'll kill you.
They can try.
Did you grow up with Warhammer at all?
Yeah, I've got tons of Warhammer figures in a box somewhere. I used to collect the Eldar race, which was fun.
It's just one of those things that completely passed me by when I was younger. Didn't even know it existed.
You can get really sweet lead poisoning from the figures.
Totally worth it.
There's a lot of shit happening on screen.
Now join us. Open fire!
That looks cool.
Blam 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 blam.
Sega again, isn't it? I think they still got the license for it.
Yeah, they were doing it rezzed. They were showing.
Glorious. Philip, there was a lot going on in there. Walk me through how the pieces of the battle fit together.
Sure. Well, we saw a lot of things there. I should say we had a little bit of fun with the camera, as you can tell.
I assume that's not the player flying around in the middle of the game.
So we showed off a whole bunch of things in those few minutes. Planet Acheron, which is one of our new settings, a planet of ice and fire at the same time. Gabriel Angelos, the chapter master of the Blood Ravens, one of our elite heroes and the returning story hero for Dawn of War. Lady Solaria, our Imperial Knight, that giant robot, which is the biggest and best unit we've ever
American
done.
chat show.
Space Marines as a whole, with their drop pod mechanic, which we call Death from Above. You saw them in action.
They're gonna have musical
and then
guests.
Just a hint of that great space laser.
Yeah, okay, I was going to ask, because you used Death from Above not in reference to the huge
That's the point. I've got to try and
space
find
laser.
that feed of Blink 182
So
playing.
the space laser is their
broadcast
super
that.
ability, orbital bombardment. It's sort of the end game ability for the Space Marines, where you get to drop this giant finger of God laser from the sky, and you actually can control it like a squad. So you can actually move it around the field. It gets bigger as it does more damage, but it slows down, so there's a bit of counterplay there as
new
the
Humble
enemy
Bundle
can
up,
get out of the
John.
way.
Right.
But it just feels awesome.
Now, Brent, tell me a little bit about what it's like to design a campaign in the Warhammer universe.
It's great. You know, the Warhammer universe is very rich, and you know what we're doing with Dawn of War 3's campaign is we're telling the epic story that fans, players expect, and we're telling it from the viewpoint of 3 special heroes that are representing each faction. And it's a tale that kind of interweaves between their perspectives, allowing players to kind of experience the armies as they go through the game.
I wonder if that guy's hot in that
so
suit.
was that footage from the single-player campaign?
That's
I'm gonna guess yes.
An excerpt. It's excerpted from our E3 mission.
Oh,
but
John,
that
actually,
E3
yeah.
mission is,
The
part
Humble
of a
Bundle.
bigger mission.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
when we
narrative
release the
one they've
game,
got going on
all
at the
you'll see
moment.
is that E3 mission, that cool footage,
Mm-hmm.
in the context
I'm
of
gonna look at it now.
a larger mission.
So
that
cool. And I understand that there's
I
even some
think
more
it's the
footage coming
one.
up down the line.
Yeah,
The
we'll be
read-only
releasing
memories
full
one
footage of that E3 mission
is
on Twitch and
it's very
YouTube on June 24th.
Snatcher-esque.
Too easy, just in time for my birthday.
Well,
Don't
happy birthday.
forget.
I was
Don't forget,
gonna
right.
probably go for the
Now,
$10 one actually because it's got
Guys, thank you so much
Shadowrun,
for being our
Hong
very
Kong.
first guest to come out on the stage.
On it.
Thank you, Space Marine, with your beautiful sword. Philip Bull and Brent Disbrow from Relic Entertainment.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Now, our next video piece is from a development studio you might not have heard of, Clay Entertainment, but you've almost certainly heard of their games. Yeah, woo, that's what I'm talking about, audience participation. They made the games Mark of the Ninja and Don't Starve. Let's take a look at their upcoming
Ninja was
title,
good.
Oxygen Not Included.
Well, that sounds interesting. They've got a very distinct style, don't they? Oh, colony simulation game.
Given how
This is
much I
Fallout
enjoy
Shelter.
dying and Don't Starve, I can't wait to play Oxygen Not Included. Now, our next guests are absolute sensation on Twitch TV, where they make a game filled with dinosaurs. Let's bring out the creators of Ark Survival Evolved. It's Jesse and Forrest Rapsack. Welcome.
Hey, Sean.
Good to see you, Jesse. Good to see you, Forrest.
Good to see you.
Come join me on the stage.
Forrest.
I mean, right away, I have to ask what it's been like to have such a rabid community and so many people just creating content around your game.
It's insane. When we put out the mod tools last year, something PC gaming is huge, passionate about. We've had a few mod contests already. We've gotten really amazing stuff from the creators. We've hired a few of them because their mods were so good. You know, so we hope to do more of this, making more changes to the mod kit and everything, and it's been really amazing to see what's being made every day.
Yeah, and I understand you have some new content you want to share with us today, a new biome.
We're pumped.
A new damn dinosaur.
That's right.
Oh, lovely. Walk me through what we're seeing here, Jesse.
So this is the redwood biome. It's a place that's
What's that
unlike any other
Snatcher-esque
on
game
Ark.
again?
There's giant ancient trees
read-only
that can't be
memories.
harvested, which affords players the ability to build treetop bases and have a new verticality to the gameplay. There's new resources that can only be found in the redwood biome, and as you can see, it's just like gorgeous-looking place. Grappling hooks are very useful in this biome, and we're really excited to get this thing out so players can have that new diversity on the island.
I mean, it's kind of incredible, like the rich depth in the background, just sort of seeing all the sort of looming danger there, which is really a core piece of Ark's gameplay.
That's exactly correct.
All right,
And
here's the
this-
dinosaur. Jesse, stop what you're saying. Tell me about the dinosaur.
This is the Titanosaurus. This guy's been a long time coming. The biggest dinosaur on the
One sec.
island by far. There's only a few of them. They're kind of indestructible. You can build giant bases on them. Their attacks are devastating, and they can't be tamed in a traditional way. They're immune to narcotics. They require a special takedown method related to kind of KOing them in the head with some bigger artillery. So.
Yeah, you can build a fortress on the dinosaur.
Yeah, science tells us that's possible.
Of course. Ark, based on real science. Now, modding, obviously a huge part of just Ark's culture. I mean, talk to me a little bit about this mod.
This is actually Primitive Plus. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, Primitive Plus is a mod that we've created, or Cedric created, one of our community guys originally that came in-house. And he's been working on this for a while. It's been available to PC gamers for quite some time. But we're making it an official mod now. This will be later in July. We'll be putting it on our official servers. And this will allow people to easily get into this mod, which is really good for role-playing. It's living off the land. It's got a whole lot of new resources. It allows you to play the game without the high technology tier, and it really opens up a lot of new gameplay
Seems really
mechanics.
centered around just creating an in-game community.
That's right, yeah. And
Like storefronts and ways for people to trade.
yep, storefronts, ways for people to trade things. I mean, it's really awesome. And this is just an example of one of those mods that was created. There's so many other things available right now through our mod. You can play Ark on the Moon with Ark Moon Survival. There's new competitive game modes like Tribe Wars. There's new maps all over the place that have been opening up the world for people to play Ark.
And another of the mods that you brought in, and my understanding is that these are brought in-house now to
Some
be
of
part
them
of the
are, yeah.
official launch as well.
Right.
That you get to play any animal in the game.
So this started off actually as our this started off as our April Fool's joke, and we decided to make it a real mod. So we are going to bring this in your future, and people can play as ants. You can play as frogs. You can play as a wolf. It's pretty neat.
That's right. One of our partner developers, Instinct Games, is actually developing this out of Egypt. And they have been working on this for a little while, and it's so exciting because you can play as the creatures of Ark, go through their life cycles from babies to adults. You know, we started Ark and we added the poop button, and in this mod you have the mate button. Because as
these are important buttons.
They are buttons
for the content release.
Yeah. You know, it's great button remapping. All the hardware carriers are really going crazy over this. But no, the goal is to create a pack, right? To create a pack of creatures and play with that pack of creatures, make new babies, raise them, level them up. You can play kind of asynchronously against the other species on the island. Of course, there's all sorts of people choosing different types of dinosaurs. Yeah, and then
Predator mode.
yeah,
Predator vision.
every dinosaur has a unique kind of, or creature has a unique vision, and of course we've got humans
John.
on the island as well.
Yeah, Forrest, what are they doing there?
Well, you know, they're throwing poop. That's what they do. That's what monkeys
John,
do.
that
Wow.
I think the monkeys are going to
Inside
be very popular.
has got
Critical
some
buttons upcoming.
early
Yeah,
previews.
next release.
Playing as the monkeys.
So
and
once
people
again,
say
you know,
it's
this is going to be an
amazing.
official mod. Instinct Games, our partner team out of Egypt, developing this. It'll be coming later.
Inside,
this year,
sorry, what was
as an
that?
official
You
mod
know
on
the
official
one done by the
servers.
Limbo
So
team?
awesome. And Forrest, of course, I have
Oh,
to
right,
ask about
okay.
your involvement
Yeah,
with
apparently it's
streaming,
really,
sharing
really good. It's
content
short.
with
It's
the
a
community.
3.5 hour
What's that
game,
experience
so it's
been
sort of in a
Oh,
similar
it's been
vein.
amazing. I mean, our community is
Yeah, it's meant to be really good.
absolutely outstanding. They get so involved and are so, honestly, so creative. I mean, we really try
Is
to
that your
incorporate
din-dins?
ideas that the community comes up with
Yeah.
when we
I
find
might have
things
to,
that we think are like,
Sort something
we should
out,
buy
actually.
that, you know?
Well, you're going to give me the gift of being able to role play as an ant and leave
very hungry.
scents everywhere.
Totally. And I'm going to be the frog, though, so you better watch out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse and Forrest Rapsack from Ark Survival Evolved. Guys, thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
out.
John.
Thank you.
Now, I normally
played
like
Ark
to do a little
Survival.
spiel to lead
No,
in
again,
each
looks
thing to
looks
just
kind of
frame it.
interesting,
But
but
for this one, I don't have to.
too open-ended
All I'm going to
again.
do is tell you the title.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Giant Cop.
Giant Cop. That sounds cool.
Oh, I saw that at Red. It's VR.
You should try it, man. It's very free. Coming to Micro Beach used to be a great natural experience. Do some naked sunbathing, naked barbecue, naked hula hoop, naked Sudoku. Now it's so restricted and boring. It all started going downhill when they brought in that giant...
People have no decency today. I couldn't even go to the beach without seeing peckers and hoo-has everywhere. But the beach is a much nicer place.
Peckers and
now. I
hoo-has.
can take my kitties on a leisurely stroll and not have to worry about all that indecency.
That giant cop is great! Like a super detective! My prized petunia plant beauty was stolen! I was heartbroken! I gave Giant Cop a picture of my beauty, and that dirty thief was quickly dealt with!
Micro City's not the same anymore, man. Like,
I no longer fear walking home now the Giant Cop has eyes everywhere. The streets feel much safer.
Our police force is top-notch, and our city has never been better because of it. I am happy to have the Giant Cop here to serve us. Giant Cop is the greatest.
That looks quite funny.
It's funny watching people playing in VR.
Yeah.
They had the controllers and everything, and they were literally picking things off the floor, looking at them, and throwing them away.
Innovations in VR. Told you I didn't need to tell you anything.
Problem is, again, it's
now,
VR.
Our next title is the sequel to a game that at first I struggled with, but then fell in love with the combat. That game was Mount and Blade. Coming up next, we have a little intro video to the sequel, Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. Let's take a look.
Banner, my lord. John, bear me a sec. I'm gonna go and see if I can sort out some food.
Uh-huh.
Join me in welcoming to the stage from Tale World's community manager, Frank Elliott. Frank, it's so good to see you again. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, Frank, I just want you to start off by talking a little bit about what is Mount and Blade for those who are unfamiliar.
Okay, to summarize very, very quickly, Mount and Blade is an action, RPG, strategy, simulation, sandbox, very like amalgam of all those genres. And what you are is essentially, you're like just a regular person in the world. You can become a lord, you can rule your own faction, you fight in the battles alongside your troops when you're commanding them as well. There's politics, there's trade. It's very much a feudal simulation game.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I brought up the combat earlier. I mean, a lot of games have you hit the button to do the punch. But I mean, in Mount and Blade, it's much more physical, much more involved. And I mean, here, this is the big news of Mount and Blade 2, the Siege. Walk me through what we're seeing here.
Okay, well, this is our Siege gameplay, and really this is kind of one of the areas of the game where players wanted to see most improvement from us. So what we did is we worked a lot, we added in loads of different mechanics, and we've got things like destruction now, you've got ballistae, mangonels, and obviously as the player you can just push your soldier aside, grab one, fire right at that battlement, blast a piece of it off, and you're essentially very, very involved in the fight. We have like multiple lanes of attack now as well, and you have to deploy, choose how you approach each castle.
And right now, how many players are there on each side, or excuse me, humans on each side in this fight?
Well, yeah, essentially this is one of our single-player sieges, and we have like 350 guys on our side, and the defenders have a bit less, on 150. So there's about 500 total, all operating individually, acting independently, using their own attacks and blocks. But we can push that a little bit further in the final game, we think.
And how does a siege evolve over time? What's the beginning, middle, and end of a siege?
Well, essentially, you're doing a siege to take over some land, right? Exploit the natural resources and sort of gain more money because you sort of expanded your faction. So you spend some time on the campaign map bombarding, doing some damage to the castle, and then you get into the fight and have this huge, dramatic, climactic battle against the enemy.
I mean, I understand that so much of the inspiration from the game is just historical research. How does that factor into the siege?
That's exactly right. I mean, that's a huge part of the way we design the game. We actually look at history, we look at what worked, and also why it works. So you see these murder holes up here. I mean, like getting into a castle is supposed to be a real, like, massive pain, right? It's a really hard thing to do. And so once you're trying to smash down that gate, you've got the defenders from above, like throwing rocks, throwing jars of oil all over you, and you're having a really hard time fighting this very historically themed castle.
I mean, the scope of it is just incredible. And I mean, I know with all the intricate systems, not just the combat, but the political, the economic system, that modding is a really big part of Mount & Blade as well.
Absolutely. I mean, modding has been part of Mount & Blade right from the very start. I mean, from the very beta of the first game, we had modders coming in, and it's really sort of helped to fuel our community growth and helped to actually kind of fuel development in a way as well. We've taken a lot of ideas from the modding scene. So in Bannerlord, we tried to give back to the community because we love them so much. And what we're going to do is we're going to give them all of the tools which we use for development, and also we're going to allow them to combine mods. So someone might make a mod which changes something about diplomacy. Someone might add a skill, and then another person adds maybe, like, a new weapon or an armor. And players can actually grab all of those mods, combine them into one,
awesome.
And play them in the game, yeah.
Well, for any of you who have not played Mount Blade, I personally strongly recommend it. Frank, thanks so much for coming out and talking about Mount & Blade 2. Now, our next video piece is from the maker of Lords of the Fallen, creating another game inspired by Dark Souls, but in this realm, it is in a sci-fi setting. Let's take a look at The Surge.
Changing the world is easy. Governments, corporations, they've always done it. Until this is all that's left. Slowly roasting under the solar rays. Forged from imperfection, steeled by technology. We're the cogs in their machine. And yet we struggle on. We are human, so we fight. But are we fighting for our future or theirs?
A game I will definitely play. Now, our next guest was here last year talking about Project Blue Streak. And now we get the chance to know that it is called Lawbreakers. Up next, we have a video of a brand new map to play on in the game. It's called Promenade.
Welcome to Santa Monica Island in the rebuilt California Keys. Tourists used to love this place until the good, the bad, and the straight-up ugly arrived. Now we got organized crime and mercenaries taking on cops and vigilantes, all floating and fighting in our damn streets. When you jump into zero G, how are you gonna win the war? Will you fly like a rocket? Or swing through the sky?
Step into the shadow! You have picked up the battery.
Will you be on the right side of the blade or the wrong side of a gun? Lawbreakers.
Oh, join me in welcoming the CEO of Boss Key Productions, Cliff Blazinski. Hey, Cliff,
How's it going, man?
Cliff, nice shoes. I didn't see those earlier.
Those are my fresh kicks, man.
Those are great.
I'm at the age where I just want them to be comfortable. That's all I really care about. And I got to cast iced tea again. How awesome is that? This ain't utopia.
Well, outside of shoes, I want to jump straight into talking about your game.
Absolutely.
Right away, the movement, the motion, the verticality sticks out. Talk to me about that design element, because it harkens back to like Quake and Unreal days.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, we've talked about those kinds of games, and I think they're doing a new Quake, which looks pretty cool as well. But it's really important to note that what we're doing is evolving this kind of game for kind of a new generation that expects kind of abilities and characters that have different kind of health and different movement styles.
Right.
And so the core of these types of games, these first-person shooters, it's not just the shooting, it's the movement. It's how you flow through the environment. It's whether or not the player actually has momentum. Then when you add in low gravity and the player zips into low gravity and jumps out, and they can actually bunny hop a little bit. So you start to get a little bit of that kind of like, strafe jumping, tribes skiing little vibe going on in there. And then when you add in zero-G and low gravity and blind firing behind you, it gets really, really interesting.
That looks good.
This is the new map Promenade, I understand.
Which thankfully, so the thing is here at E3, we're finally able to show off a new map, a new arena, because we've been showing off Grandview for so long, which is our kind of repurposed Grand Canyon. And now this is kind of my re-envisioning of what Santa Monica and Los Angeles could be in the near future and whatnot after an earthquake and humanity manages to rebuild Los Angeles properly without all the darn cars.
It's a very ambitious plan for Los Angeles.
Dude, it's really my thinly veiled middle finger to this town, because I love this town, but I hate it. It's like you're always in cars, you're always in traffic, so it's like if we could have like the big dig in LA and put all the cars underground self-driving, then we could have like lovely Frank Gehry architecture everywhere. And the Santa Monica Pier is reimagined with it's not just a Ferris wheel, but it's like omnidirectional now, along with a big zero-G pocket in the middle.
What am I missing, John?
Gameplay. What has it been like to try
Lawbreakers.
to balance all the different motion
This is Cliff
routes that players
Blazinski's
can
new
go
game.
through when there's so much
Yeah,
completely
Cliff and
unbalanced
B.
right now.
He has some nice shoes on.
We're actually going to be
This
doing the public
looks
alpha.
very different
And so
from
when we
when
do
they
these public
initially
alphas,
showed it, I think.
We actually say, come help break this game with us. We've had some streamers who are already playing the game giving
I thought
us
it was Titanfall 2.
feedback on the health stations or feedback on the player speed and movement. And we're having these boiling debates
very
inside
orange.
the studio, and I tell everyone, get used to it, because this is part of the process of 2016 and beyond and making a living product with your fans.
Yeah. I have to ask right away. There's so many different kinds of shooters coming out with Overwatch, with Battleborn, with Paladins. How do you see Lawbreakers fitting into the mix with all these types of shooters coming out?
I had this epiphany the other day, and I didn't tweet it in spite of my trash talking on Twitter. The fact that, if Overwatch is Street Fighter, we're going to be Mortal Kombat. Overwatch feels like it's kind of skewed, towards a kind of an anime fan type vibe, right? And it's a fantastic game. My wife is really good at Mercy, by the way. Don't go up against her. She gets to play the game every time. But we're like kind of the Western version of that actually has, a little bit of cursing, a little bit of gore. It's not gratuitous, but, we're going back to the kind of the roots of a shooter where you can actually do a star fall down and boom, cause people to explode.
Well, awesome. You talked about alpha plans. What is the more specific timeline in regards to that?
Basically what we're doing, we have our kind of alpha timeline coming out here in a second here, where we're doing a public alpha, and it's actually on the 18th of June, this weekend, where if you go to PCGamer.com, you can enter your name and possibly get in. There's only a limited amount of tickets that you can get in for that, and preloading will start on the 16th, so you're not sitting there on the 18th eating up all your bandwidth downloading the darn game. So basically what we're building up to is early access for everyone. I'm not revealing that date yet in regards to when the game's, paid and whatnot, but it's free. There's no non-disclosure on the 18th here. You can stream the game. You can put it on YouTube. You can tweet me, tweet Lawbreakers. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate. Call us assholes. I don't really care. Just give us your feedback. That's what we're going for. They will.
Cliff, I love it, and I guarantee you will get that
This is how it should be done.
And I'm excited to
What's
play the
that?
game. I'm going to tweet at you. I want to get access. Once again, PCGamer.com/raw.
Free beta.
I believe
Stream
there were
it.
several
Do whatever you
thousand
like.
keys available, but they're all
Fix it.
gone.
Fix what's broken.
Guaranteed.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cliff Blazinski from Lawbreakers, thank you.
So the problem is betas are probably quite expensive to do, aren't they?
Now,
Same as demos are actually
developers
expensive to do
on talk
nowadays.
about their upcoming games and their upcoming content, but another very important group in the industry is the players themselves creating new strategies to use against each other. And that content, that spectacle, has exploded into the world of esports, a world very personal and near and dear to me. So to talk about it, let's look at this video clip from Yahoo Esports.
John, do you want to do anything with Nintendo tomorrow? The problem is I don't think there's going to be one specific stream. I think you just streaming throughout the day.
Celebrate esports. Esports had all this
should
money
we
in
just
it.
see how it goes?
It was a very grassroots situation.
See how it goes.
But it wasn't really until the recent years, as we
To be
saw the
honest, I
advent
think
of
tonight might be
online
my limit.
streaming and some of these
Okay,
bigger
no,
esports
that's
titles,
cool.
things have
I
really
don't think
gotten
we'll be able to do anything properly with tomorrow's anyway, because it's just too much of it. I think they're planning to do like a
we didn't have
8
a
or
lot
9
of
hour
tournaments like we do now. So
long
25
thing.
years later, there's just this massive growth.
Yeah,
in,
no,
it's,
not 9
it's
hours.
amazing to
No.
see where
Oh,
the
no,
game
yeah,
is
no,
going
I've got
some
and
holiday.
where it could
Yeah.
potentially go.
This is a really exciting time for Dota 2. At the International 5, EG pulled off the perfectly coordinated Echo Slam in order to take home the big prize pool.
Ready for the
I remember way back in 2011 watching the League of Legends Season 1 finals hit 100,000
Do you ever think we'll rewatch this
viewers
footage?
currently on stream, and that was when I knew
What,
League
the
of
stream?
Legends was here to stay.
My first stadium event was
Maybe.
IEM, and I remember
Does it
when I was
disappear
watching
after 60
Counter-Strike
days?
there, that every single time I did, like a really sick shot
yeah, I think it
with
disappears
an
off of
the
Twitch,
whole audience,
yeah.
like, reacted like someone
Right.
had scored a touchdown.
The problem with the YouTube
From
stuff
Fallen
is
and CSGO,
actually.
Faker in League
let
of
me check the
Legends,
YouTube.
and Fear in Dota 2, it is incredible to see everyday gamers
So I
rise
think-
to superstardom.
Evo Moment 37 is probably the
the
most
Bethesda
defining
ones
moment in
stayed up.
fighting games and possibly esports
Hmm.
history.
I don't think that
it's
one's
a
gone
moment
down.
that drew so much attention and brought players into the scene. You can talk to so many different players.
Yeah,
who
Bethesda-
will point to
Bethesda
that
one's still up.
defining moment as a time
That's
they
actually-
got into fighting.
So I'm not sure really what's going on there.
I remember the feeling when I was at BlizzCon in 2015 and the Heroes of the Storm audience was all the way to the very back of the giant convention center. They even had to take out a wall to allow for more people to watch. It was insane.
The introduction of live streaming and Twitch has exploded viewership of esports in a way I don't think anyone really thought possible.
The prize pools are getting bigger, the viewership numbers are getting bigger, and there's more monetary sponsors, and I'm so excited to see where it goes.
The future of esports is happening right now. It's growing every day.
With the introduction of more and more games like Overwatch or Hearthstone, esports can only get bigger as time goes on. It can only gain more fans. It can only become more exciting.
If you don't follow esports, now's as good a time to start as any League of Legends or Dota
Esports.
2 or Counter-Strike watchers, any StarCraft players out there in the audience today. Esports fans, there we go. Start now, just go to Twitch, it's all over the place. Now, in addition to players being a critical
all
piece
over
of the
the
industry,
place.
the technologists are as well, constantly creating new innovations for us to play with. So, joining me on the stage today is the lead sponsor of the PC Gaming Show, here to talk about some new goodies. Join me in welcoming from AMD, the CEO, Lisa Su.
Hello, Sean. How are you,
Good to
man?
see you.
It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. I'm just hosting a show. What about you?
I'm just hanging in there, developing some new technology.
That makes sense. I mean, tell me right away about Polaris.
You know what? We are extremely excited about Polaris. You know, Polaris has been in the making for a number of months,
Smooth.
and we're getting ready to launch it. And Polaris is all about getting the best gaming experiences to as many gamers as possible. And you know, most gamers have a budget.
Need to reorganize my bottom.
$300. That's about 84% of the market. And for us, we're trying to get extremely enthusiast class performance at those types of price points so that all gamers can enjoy that kind of performance.
And I know it's not just the hardware side, but also the software side.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've doubled down on software, you know, game-ready drivers, working on the new APIs like DX12 and Vulkan. And we have a little bit of a treat to show you what we can do with Polaris and the guys at id on the new game Doom.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Doom running on
Doom.
Polaris.
Hi, I'm Marty, and this is Robert. We're back here at id working on a number of updates for Doom, and specifically Doom running on Vulkan. Gamers can look forward to a buttery smooth experience in Doom on Polaris, supporting a wide range of hardware and gamer budgets.
We believe the experience on AMD will be hard to beat across all hardware.
Want to play Doom on your laptop on the train home? Polaris plus Vulkan is going to make that possible. Bottom line is, you're not going to need a $700 video card to enjoy Doom at fantastic frame rates.
Lisa, the box has made a return. Last year we had a box. This year we got a box.
The box is bigger this year.
What's in the box?
Look, hey, we couldn't come to the PC Gaming Show
It's at the end
without
of
showing
7.
off
It's
some new
ahead.
technology. So let's see what we got here. We are
What's
showing
in
off
box?
for the very first time the entire Polaris
What's in
lineup,
box?
our 3 cards. So let me take you through them. First, let's start with the Radeon RX 480. This is our newest card for premium VR.
Oh, this is why I really don't
this
care.
Gets premium VR at $199
I'm actually
above
quite
price
interested.
points, and we love this card, going on sale starting June 29th.
No, when we get into specific parts, I just kind of lose my care a
And then
little
we
bit.
have two other cards here, which are pretty exciting as well.
VR
we have the
$199.
RX 470
Well, Scorpio's
and
got
the
inside of
RX
it.
460. The 470 is really focused on excellent performance per watt, so it's 2.8x over the previous generation. And you get full HD experiences, 1080p running 60 frames per second. Gorgeous card. We'll have many, many different versions of this from our add-in board partners. And then we have the 460, which is really focused on esports. So I heard about all those esports fans in the audience. This guy is going to be the best card in the industry. Less than 75 watts, cool, fast. I think you're going to love these cards. So we're really excited about our new technology here.
Thank you, Lisa. And you know, it's not just, you know, you're talking to me about VR yesterday, and it's not just that these support existing technologies. You introduced to me the word a VR backpack, which I was completely confused by yesterday. Talk to me a little bit about that today.
So it's one of the cool things. I mean, you know, we're super excited about VR. VR has the opportunity to put incredible number of new applications there.
What the fuck is that?
And it's not just about the hardware, but it's about how we work with our OEMs.
Dibs.
So my friend Renee here, part of the AMD Red team, is showing off a new Alienware reference design using the RX 480, and you can see the entire PC is in that backpack with the graphics card, and you're able to run, you know, full high-definition VR experiences with this reference design. So is that cool or what?
I mean, so this is the sort of thing that you could like take to an open
weird as
field
fuck.
and be able to just wander around.
So many policemen are going to shoot you.
That's absolutely right. Who wants to be sitting down? You know, you want to be able to do everything that you want to do with the VR experience. And this
I
is
want to
really
fucking
just the
sit down when I
beginning
play
with what we
games.
can do with the Radeon RX series.
Now, in terms of working with developers, you mentioned Crow Team earlier. Tell me a little bit about your work with Crow Team.
Yeah, so look,
Them
I
guns.
think VR is about the entire ecosystem, you know, the graphics cards, the OEMs, but it's also about the software. We have been working on new software called Liquid VR, which makes it easier for people to deliver VR experiences. You know, Crow Team is ultra famous for all their work with Serious Sam, and what we've been trying to do is help them develop VR content actually
Serious
using our
Sam.
multiple GPU features. You know, so what I'd like to say is, you know, we each have two eyes. Don't you think we should have two GPUs?
That is perfectly logical.
Well, you would, because you're
Let's
fucking
see
selling
some
them.
of what Crow Team is doing. It's
check it
really
out.
exciting.
Serious Sam in VR.
Her motives are pure, Tom. Let her go.
Sure.
Looks to me like things just got seriously real.
Love Serious Sam.
How does it keep going?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Get ready to get serious.
I still laugh.
We
every
love
time.
Serious Sam, so.
Now, outside of GPUs, tell me about the CPU side of things on AMD.
All right, that's a little bit of a secret. But look, we
Well, I'll
love
tell you
CPUs.
anyway.
We think, you know, they really go in a pair, and we've been doing quite a bit of development on CPUs. We have a new development called Zen. Zen is going first into enthusiast class desktop processors for gamers, and we've really optimized around, you know, high performance, 8 cores, 16 threads, really exciting stuff. Sean, I wanted to bring the lab here, but I needed the engineers to do some work. So
That would have been an odd show to have the lab on stage, and I'm glad that you brought the video to allow us to take a look at the new Summit Ridge line.
Exciting update
Cheeky
from the
wink.
AMD Bring Up Labs. We've been testing out the Zen core, and we've been doing our integration level tests, our feature enablement, and we have Summit Ridge running Doom.
Wait, what's this? The CPU
Yeah.
is running Doom.
Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, is this actually the processor?
Right.
With no extra card.
Lisa, thank you so much for coming out today. It's been a pleasure to see all the new goodies.
We are extremely excited about what we can do this year. And Sean, thank you. And all PC gamers, AMD is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Su from AMD. And again, thanks for putting on this show again this year. It's a lot of fun. Now, let's talk about video games. Our upcoming title is from the makers of Life is Strange and Remember Me, the studio Don't Nod. Let's take some first exclusive look at some gameplay footage of Vampire.
I know I should feel something. So why don't I? What does it mean?
It's pronounced vampire, but okay.
Steady, boys. We got one of them here.
What is man?
Looks kind of cool.
I've got.
He's dead, you know.
Apples and pears.
Hold Landon's hand.
You're mine, vermin!
A beer.
Vampire.
Awfully different from Life is Strange. Eh?
You reckon?
Now, our next guests were here last year where they were talking about the updates to their Gore engine technology, and here they're excited to talk about upcoming content. It's for Killing Floor 2. Let's welcome Tripwire Interactive's
this looked good, actually.
John Gibson.
Killing Floor 2.
John, great to see you again. It is a pleasure. John, please join me here, and I'm going to ask you the easiest question ever. What's coming up with Killing Floor 2?
What's coming up? Okay, so Killing Floor 2, it's been out in early access for a little while. So it came out last year. And we put out 4 major content packs for it. We have a really exciting one coming up called Bullseye. And it's got more weapons, more ways to kill the monsters, more way to kill players as the monsters. It's really exciting.
You get to play as a Zed.
You get to play as the Zeds.
Num, 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 num. Now, in terms of that experience of having it in early access, what has that been like to have so many people getting to play for so long and giving you the feedback leading up to this content patch?
Oh, it's been really great. We've learned so much. You know, we've developed an analytic system to measure, what people like, what people don't like, because it's really hard when you have like 1 million people like all shouting things at you at the same time to tell what you really need to change. But in this upcoming update, we've added a lot of their feedback into the game and really retuned things based on that feedback. So it's been a great feedback loop.
That's so cool. And you brought today some footage of Bullseye. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
It's pretty cool.
John, you're going to have to walk me through a little bit of that action. Tell me what we just saw.
Okay, so you saw the new sharpshooter perk. It's all about killing the monsters from the long range. You saw the really cool new weapon, the Horzine Tech railgun. It's this beast railgun that you can knock those giant monsters right on their butts. New characters. We've got some community maps that we're taking official.
Yeah, no, walk me through that process. How did that go from just something the community made to actually being part of the game proper?
So we had this community mapping contest called the Grindhouse Mapping Contest. And so now we're taking those best maps, we're helping them polish them up, and we're shipping them as part of the game.
That's so cool.
So people in the community are actually getting their content in the full game.
And, I mean, we've been using the term full game. Killing Floor 2 has been in early access for a long time. What's coming up next down the line? When does it leave early access?
Well, we're planning on it leaving early access this fall. So we can officially announce that this fall you're going to be able to get your hands on the full version of the game. And also one thing that we're really exciting, actually I'd like to do right now. I'm sorry, I wouldn't normally pull my phone out in the middle of an interview, but you know, all that cool stuff that you just saw, hold on. It's live right now.
Oh, that's
you can play the update right now.
Did you actually do anything on your phone, or is that just a prop phone?
That's just a sound. But somebody on the other side of the planet pushed a button that released the update.
Okay, no, that makes a lot more sense.
That was their cue.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear this in the audience, but when he hit it, it actually began to play a sound. And I was like, that's a lot of effort. You could have just said it, right?
Yeah, I could have.
Well, John, I understand there's something extra you wanted to talk about today.
Yes, there is. Just real quick, for Killing Floor 2, for those of you that haven't got to try it, we're starting
Tasty, Tom.
weekend on Steam, starting Thursday, running to Monday. So
I can
if
hear
you
them.
want to play it, you haven't got a chance, you want to fight as the monsters, because we just added that, go do that. We do have one more thing.
Well, John, what's the one more thing?
Well, actually, if you don't mind, I'll take over hosting the show for a minute. You know, we have from Oculus Development, Anna Sweet to help us announce.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Anna Sweet from Oculus.
I wonder what it could be.
Anna, welcome. Come join us. Anna, what are you doing here?
Well, I've known the team at Tripwire for a long time, so I'm really excited to
2D support.
help them announce a new game called Killing Floor Incursion. If you think the Killing Floor universe is intense, wait until you check it out in VR with Oculus Touch. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I understand this is not a translation of the current Killing Floor 2. Instead, it is an entirely new experience in VR. Let's take a look at Killing Floor.
So, watered down version. I'm guessing.
Some guns floating in front of Killing Floor. More floaty hands.
Yeah. See, the problem with any VR games, from what I've seen so far,
John,
it just doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot in them.
That looks so
Like they're good
scary,
for
man.
playing for like an hour or
like,
something,
completely outside
and then there's nothing
of
else to do.
The horror element to it. I mean, that must have been a real interesting new space trying to figure out how to translate some of the gunplay experiences from Killing Floor into virtual reality.
Absolutely. And
VR's going to ruin Let's Play videos.
About working on virtual reality. You know, when we got the touch controllers, we're like,
I don't know
this
if you've
is
got
really
a
exciting. How are we
webcam
gonna use
of
it?
yourself,
We're really sailing in uncharted
like a
waters
twat.
for the first time in years
Could
as
be
game
quite funny.
developers. So we're like, how do you model recoil in VR? How do you move? How do you, and solving all of those problems, it's been challenging but also very exciting.
Yeah, what's one of the most interesting things that you think, like especially the recoil one? How does that work?
The recoil, it's a challenge because when somebody's shooting, you don't want the gun pointing up here, but their hand feels like it's pointing in that direction.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you have to be really subtle with the recoil, but you really want them to feel powerful. So that's been one of the real challenges.
And I'm curious, Anna, you work with a lot of different people and different developers in VR. How do these sort of lessons translate to other titles?
You know, it's really exciting. This is sort of a complete ability to rewrite every genre and remake all the rules, and we just see developers doing incredible things. It wasn't that long ago we didn't even know if first-person shooters would work in virtual reality, and now you have a team like Tripwire who's just redefining the genre. So it's a great time for gaming.
Well, Anna, I understand that there is an additional title that you wanted to talk about in the VR experience.
That's true. So I'm not sure if you'd call it a first-person shooter or maybe more of a ballet, but the team at Superhot has been hard at work creating a new experience that really drops gamers into a Matrix-like encounter. So we're really excited
I played it on
that
Oculus.
Superhot will be coming as well for Oculus Touch, and I
Yeah.
think we have a new trailer.
That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, John Gibson from Tripwire Interactive and Anna Sweet from Oculus. Thank you so much for coming out to talk to us about first-person VR. And now it's time to take a look at that Superhot VR trailer.
So sweet.
That's cool.
Still like this. This is my
Does look
favorite
like
part of that
Amigas.
whole trailer. Now, the next video piece coming up is from one of my favorite developers of all time, Obsidian, that made Fallout New Vegas, made Pillars of Eternity, and their upcoming RPG asks the question, what if evil won? Let's take a look at Tyranny.
For centuries, Kairos the Overlord has conquered the known world. Dissent has been quelled. And those who once boasted of their right to rule are forced to kneel. In Kairos' empire, the execution of justice is paramount. The lawless will be broken, made to feed the flames of war. Those found deserving of authority may rise, picked from the ashes, to be the enforcers, spearheads of the cause, to judge the accused and strike down those foolish enough to resist. As the final conquest draws near, you can institute the law from above or use the banner to institute your own. The destiny of nations is yours to decide.
Oh, my wallet. I will continue to buy everything you make, Obsidian. Thank you. Now, our next game that's coming up is a futuristic horror game made by the creators of Layers of Fear. Let's take a look at Observer.
Nope, too scary.
He's so scary.
I love watching people play scary games. I can't play them myself, really.
An interesting teaser trailer, and here to unpack it for us is Rafal Basai from Blooper Team. Rafal, welcome.
Hello, sir.
Good to see you. Nice shirt. Hey,
thank you.
Look at that. Nice branding.
Yeah, you're looking good as well.
This is a nice floral tie. Yeah. I recently learned the word paisley. Cool, huh? Now, right away, I just want to ask, what sort of game is Observer?
Actually, it will be a little bit impolite, but I will need to answer your question with a different question.
Oh.
So, what would you do if your fears got hacked and used against you?
I would have a lot of spiders used against me.
Yeah, so imagine that this one sentence actually sets the premise for the whole game, but let me delve a little bit deeper into what Observer is. So it's a hidden horror game in which you play as Dan, who is a member of a special police unit that actually is called Observers, and their job is to hack other people's minds and memories. So you can imagine that you will witness a lot of, twisted visions along the way in the game.
I mean, the setting is really evocative with all the digitization on the walls. Talk me about the cyberpunk setting.
Yeah, so we are setting the game in a cyberpunk universe, but then again, it's not something you know from, American movies. We are setting the game in an Eastern European setting, and we are having, this fight between the high-tech environment, the holograms covering, the dusty and destroyed, devastated, buildings and stuff like that.
Now, I have to ask, there's a lot of different spreads in the horror genre of some a little more story-focused, some a little more pure horror jump-scare focused. Where does Observer lie in terms of gameplay?
Yeah, so it will be a full-fledged horror experience, but as with Layers of Fear, we are focusing on, deep narrative and, environmental storytelling. But then again, you play as a detective and an observer, so you will need to use your technology to actually scan the environment and, hack other people's minds. So again, what would you do if your fears got hacked and used against you?
It would be upsetting. Let's take a look at some first ever exclusive gameplay footage of Observer.
Sounds cool.
Keep your voice down. He'll hear you.
Who will?
He's coming. I can hear him out there. He won't take me. I won't let him take me.
Are they just making PT?
Someone has to.
Yeah.
Psychedelic.
Hello.
I'm going to have to toughen up so I can play all the scary games that are being introduced this year. Looks so good. Our next guest is going to be taking over hosting for me for just a little bit, and I'm very excited to hear about his game, Drop Zone. Please join me in welcoming from Sparky Pants, Jason Coleman. Take it away, Jason.
Sparky Pants.
Thank you. We're excited to announce an all-new RTS-style game called Drop Zone. At Sparky Pants, we're veterans of RTS development, but more importantly, we are huge RTS fans. And we believe great competitive RTSs start with 1v1. In Drop Zone, each player controls 3 pilots with abilities they've configured before the match using our gear system. Drop Zone combines the strategy of a classic RTS with the fast-paced tactical combat of a MOBA, all in an intense 15 minutes.
Looks like a MOBA.
Yeah.
And I'm back. Jason nailed it. And there are never too many RTSs. Now, our next guests were here last year. They are the makers of the game Arma 3, that is an absolute sensation on the modding scene and a brilliant game in its own right. They're here today to talk about their upcoming expansion that is the culmination of years of work, Arma 3 Apex. Joining me will be Jay Crow from Bohemia Interactive. Jay. Hey, Jay.
Mr. Nine, sure.
Good to see. Oh, Mr. Nine. Ooh, I like that title.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction. Maybe just let me say also thank you for being here. At Bohemia, we are
Always wanted to try Arma 3.
of PC gaming, so it's a real
What a Arma game?
to celebrate
I played
PC
the
gaming and
first
PC game developers.
Operation Flashpoint when it
on
came
behalf
out.
of the Arma 3 team,
That
Czech
was
Republic,
hard.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you.
Someone
Thank you,
shot
Jay.
me from like a mile away. Great.
So, I mean, right away, tell me a little bit about the big content that's coming up for you.
Yeah, well, last year we were here, like you said, we showed off Tanoa, 100 square kilometers of South Pacific jungly archipelago terrain. The kind of place where you can walk in an hour for one direction and always be finding something new. So what we're here to discuss today is, I guess, how a player is going to explore this terrain, what weapons and vehicles that they're going to have. We also have a little teaser trailer of the 4-player co-op campaign as well. And maybe also a little teaser at the end as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, the amount of content that you guys have been working on over the last 3 years
Apparently Elder
is
Scrolls
tremendous.
6
I mean,
is
a lot
a
of games
long
have a
way
3-year
off.
development cycle and then they release, but Arma 3 has been continuing development on Arma 3
I can
for
wait.
3 years now.
Yeah, that's right. We call it the road to Apex, and it's been a long road.
Yeah.
And the kind of vehicles and weapons that we've got lined up for the expansion itself, 13 new weapons, and we kind of see those as a mix of old meets new. So we've got some old favorites coming back, some AKs, some RPGs, and these are in the hands of our French-speaking criminal faction, Syndicate. And this is sort of counterbalanced by more cutting-edge modern weaponry in the hands of our special forces. And the vehicles, which we've been taking the most time over, we've been focusing on like new classes of vehicles.
Mr. Cameron was
new
in
ways for our players to
Clare Hall
explore
today,
these huge terrains. We have these
David Cameron?
monstrous VTOL aircraft that
Wow.
carry other vehicles inside them. They're
For
so
whatever
big.
reason.
Then we have these little sort of nimble, light, fun to play with light strike vehicles. So you can sort of get your squad, pile in, and just
EU
get
stuff,
around
I
the terrain
assume.
and those.
I mean, the thing that's always amazing about the Arma games is that not only is this a ton of content for the game proper, but modding is obviously a huge part of Arma 3. How did you design the content with modding in mind?
Well, I think starting with the terrain maybe, alone, all of the mods and game modes that you know and that you love, we can expect these to be sort of coming back with Apex and getting this fresh new setting, this jungly island terrain. And the weapons and vehicles sort of complement that. They help players maybe create also new kinds of scenarios, because we have the structure and the composition of the terrains, these islands, these jungles. It's something that we haven't seen before. And aside from that, I think the part of the world that we're exploring, the South Pacific, it's such a beautiful part of the world, and it has kind of this also quite difficult or sometimes sad history. And we know that our modders are they're the kind of gamers that will go out there and make new scenarios based on that and inspired by that. And we're really looking forward to seeing what they come up with.
And I'm excited now to start off this world exclusive, the very first look at Arma 3 Apex.
Delta 1-0, be advised that's my call sign complete. Now moving to objective London. Out. Roger. On charge. PID all packed. Go when ready. Alamo, you're up. On it. Flash. Go, go!
Or more.
Amour.
Jay, you snuck a release date in on us.
Yeah, we might have seen the first announcement of our release date actually 11th of July, or July 11th, if we're going English simplified.
I didn't even know what you said at first. I'm so glad you translated it back to American.
And aside from that, maybe you might have seen snuck in there as well was, right now the guys back in Prague staying up late watching the show, helping us out. They've just pushed the button on, hopefully, pushed the button on a special Apex sneak preview build. So if you've pre-ordered Apex, and if you're on the development branch, right now you're downloading all of those.
Right now?
Yeah, right now you're downloading those weapons and vehicles and
Right
Tanua
now.
itself, of course. So your ISP is going nuts, and yeah, a few gigabytes coming down the pipe right now.
That's awesome. So, I mean, mods could be part of the official launch date now.
Well, exactly. We have a few weeks. You can kind of get on board, help us with our, I guess, sort of beta testing before this release of July 11th. And we'll see, yeah, everything that we know and love in splendid green hell fashion.
That's awesome, Jay. Thank you so much for coming out. Jay Crow from Bohemia Interactive and Arma 3 Apex.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. Now, our next title is from Bulkhead and Square Enix. It tries to answer the question, are there robots on Europa? Let's take a look at Turing Test.
The Turing Test is a first-person puzzler set on Jupiter's ice moon Europa.
We started with a common science fiction question, is there life on Europa? And we went to scientific advisors to try and get an idea of what that life would actually be. So we're telling a science fiction story, and it is really fictionalized, and we have lasers and all this kind of stuff, but it's based in an underlying reality of wanting to tell a story that could actually be true.
The original prototype was really cool because what happened when we saw people play it is they instantly understood what was happening and they understood the mechanics of the game. It's kind of a game where you pick up and you can just play it. You learn through the mechanics, and that's something that we wanted to push in terms of design. We wanted people from any background to be able to come and pick up the controller and find it a fun experience.
It was a game, was it set in Aztecs or something, where you clone yourself, and it's kind of like a Portal game.
You feel a lot more involved in the world. You have a lot more control.
Yeah, I forget what it was called.
And it just opens the world up to a lot more possibilities, really.
We present the player with, you know, a linear story that they can progress through. But as well as this linear story, there's also elements underneath that that will change the meaning of the story for the player as they experience it.
Not British people all of a sudden.
Developing the game has been about that challenge of making something functional but beautiful.
Looks fine.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful video piece. Thank you so much, Bulkhead and Square Enix. Our next guest taking the stage is here to talk about how scary it is to drive across the country. From Finji, join me in welcoming Heather Penn.
Hi. So Overland is a survival strategy game where you take a road trip across a post-apocalyptic North America. Every level you visit is procedurally generated, and you have to manage your fuel, your weapons, and other supplies by making the right calls along the road. We're currently running a limited first access alpha program on itch.io, and starting right now, we have 1,000 keys available. So to check that out, you can visit our site at overland-game.com. Okay, let's look at the trailer.
What a lovely game to say everything is stressful, right? Once again, that was Overland. Coming up next, we have a game with extremely high ambitions to be the next big space sim. Let's take a look at Dual Universe.
There's 946 keys for that game remaining.
That goes very, very quickly. He's selling those on eBay. This looks cool. Minecraft No Man's Sky.
He's a bit handy.
Just trying to make like the Thunder Force ship, if you could do that. Like the Vic Viper or something.
To join me in talking about what we just saw, let's welcome
I want the
from
octopus
Novaport,
from Parodius.
Jean-Christophe Bailly.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks.
Now, right away, I mean, there's so many elements that we're seeing in that trailer. What is Dual Universe about at its core?
Okay,
Well
so
pronounced.
it's a sci-fi MMO,
Dual.
obviously. And for me, it's an old dream that I have as a gamer, and I think I'm not the only one, is to build, this online virtual world where basically everything is possible, where you can build anything
Ubisoft
you want and become
in
anything you
quarter of an
want.
hour, is it?
That's not a very new
Yeah, I
story,
assume
and
this
there have
must
been
be
a lot
over
of games
soon.
before,
Because I would have
saying
thought
that.
they'd be
So what
concentrating
exactly
on
do we
that.
bring? As you
more
see
than
in the
anything.
video, the first thing is that you can really build anything. You can build your ship. You
Wonder
can
if we
build
got any
your
magnums
space
left.
station, you can build your house, your
Peanut
city.
butter.
You can actually harvest minerals from the
Oh,
ground in the
those
in
are
the
good, weren't
planets.
they?
Everything is
They were
editable.
really
We've done
nice.
a voxel.
907
technology.
keys remaining.
The second thing, which is very important, is that all this takes place in what we call a continuous single shard universe. That means that
It's $20
everybody
though.
plays in the same world
Or the game.
at the same time. There's no
The
instances, no loading
keys
screen,
remaining.
no, zone where you have to
Oh, so you have to
queue
pre- you have to
and things
pre-order
like that.
to
So
get
if you
it.
want to have a huge city
Yeah, $20.
with
Yeah.
thousands of people in it, you can do that. So there's a lot of technology to do this. And yeah.
So, I mean, I gotta ask, there's a whole lot of space sim type games. I mean, there's already EVE
Might make a
Online,
coffee in a minute.
Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, people are
Is that
buzzing
coffee?
about. How does
Yeah.
Dual Universe
Coffee,
fit in with those?
John
What's the
Coffee.
contrast with them?
There are a lot of aspects of the gameplay we have that you
Make
can
it
find in other
strong.
games. But what we do is we put everything together into this huge world that is shared by everyone, and it changes everything. Because if you build a ship, I mean, you can perhaps you're going to build a ship that's going to be very successful on the in-game markets, and it's going to be the ship that everybody pilots almost. So you can become famous, you can become rich, you can have your personal story. If you
The
win
most
a
popular
war,
ship
I mean,
is gonna
you
be
can
one that's
actually
shaped like
change
a
the
penis,
balance of
let's be
power in
honest.
this world. So everything has a meaning.
Oh, the penis ship.
Everything is
Yeah.
important,
Penis ship,
everything
yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
And people
Penis
are
ship
Cock and
able
balls.
to create this collective story together. And we've put a lot of emergent gameplay also in this. So you can create political systems, you can create your economy, you can create your organizations, and a lot of things like that, so that people can really build up anything.
So, I mean, you're talking so much about player-to-player interaction. How do you keep everyone together? I mean, I assume that the universe is going to be large, as just sort of classic in a space sim. Walk me through that.
So everybody starts at the same place, in the Ark ship, on the Elliott planets, and then you spread from there. Based on the technology you unlock, you will go further and further. So there's no limit to the size of the universe, but there's a limit to how far you're going to explore it. That's one thing. The other thing is that we are concerned about, creating quality.
That's a dangerous
content,
thing
which
to
we
say.
don't
There's
create
no
the
limit to the
players
size of
do.
the universe.
So the idea is that every force we put in the game, we put also a counter force, so that we have equilibrium emerging between the players. That's
Yes,
the
you don't
idea.
have some weird break where the
What?
only correct thing to do in the game is do
No,
mining or
players are
something
going
like
to
that.
choose what they like and what they don't like, also through the markets in-game. Something that is nice is going to sell more, and if it sells more, then you're going to see more of them. It's that simple, like in real life, actually.
Yeah. So when is this game going to be available?
So we have a lot of work to do. So this is just a pre-alpha that we've seen. We hope to shoot an alpha, a closed alpha, at the beginning of 2017. So that's the schedule. Until then, we're very fond of creating a large community of people talking with us, discussing with us the game. We really love that. We love the feedback. We already have people on the forums, in Twitter, Facebook. So that's what we want to do. And we're going to launch also a community website, which I like. The idea is that you can create a character already, and you can also start to create an organization like, Pirate Guild or something, and recruit and start a role play on this website. We're going to launch that in a couple of weeks.
That's awesome. I mean, having the community focus, always so important in this sort of game. And I'm really excited to see what Dual Universe brings as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Jean-Christophe Bailly from Nova Corp, thank you for talking to us about Dual Universe today.
How many versions of Elite are coming out?
Now, coming up next
Yeah, it does seem it sort of all
is
stems
not
from the original
exactly
again, doesn't it?
a game. It is about the tools of the trade for gamers. It's time for us to take a look at a video that celebrates the mouse and keyboard.
So Razer. Yeah. I better look at the schedule actually, see if there is something else coming up.
What makes PC gaming different? It's the mouse and keyboard.
I mean, they're really part of the reason why we even have point-and-click adventures, RTSs, action RPGs. I mean, even FPSs.
The mouse is our eyes and our aim.
It's an extension of
There's
our
nothing about the Ubisoft one yet.
It's all about freedom and customization.
PC gamers care about what's under the hood. They care about how it all works.
You've got people who are passionate about the type of mechanical key switches they use.
My favorite key, the tilde, hands down.
Just imagine PC gaming without a mouse and keyboard.
When I'm playing Bastion in Overwatch and raffle-stomping newbies, I need the precision that only a mouse can give me. If I had to pick one word to describe a mouse and keyboard, total control.
Speed.
Maybe just total.
Letters.
For a grown man, you shouldn't use those words.
Or ruffle stomp.
Hmm. Do you say one word?
And this is a particularly apt segment because coming up next, we have the sequel to a console RTS called Halo Wars. Joining us from
By a mouse and
343 Industries
keyboard.
to talk about Halo Wars 2, it's Dan Ayu.
Dan Ayu.
Dan! Hey! Hey! Welcome! Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Come join me on this awesome, comfy chair. Now, you're making Halo Wars 2, and it's going to be on PC. Tell me about how that is just the awesomest decision you've ever made.
That could very well be the best decision I've ever made. So obviously, first Halo Wars, it's been a while since that. Still the best-selling console RTS of all time. But one of the big things we heard from people coming out of it, in particular PC gamers, is, well, this just feels like a natural fit for PC. Why aren't you guys doing that? So with Halo Wars 2, we wanted to make sure that we were, coming out on Win 10 as well. So the product's it's gonna release on both platforms at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, on February 21st, 2017, it's going to be coming out, and we're on the floor around this week as well. So it's been a really great move for us because obviously that's just a genre that fits so naturally,
absolutely,
as we were just looking at for a mouse and keyboard interface.
Win 10 is coming.
Great.
So this is some gameplay footage from Halo Wars 2.
We've got to do the upgrade soon, don't we?
Yeah, so
As
I mean,
well.
this is a
If we want to
kind
get it
of
for
the
free.
first mission of the game. And really what we're
Still not
doing
totally
is establishing
convinced.
the UNSC presence
You've
on
used
the
it.
Ark.
What's it like?
Now, what we
okay.
really wanted to do, we had a few goals.
Begrudgingly okay.
What we're looking at now is, well,
Well,
you're seeing great
wouldn't say
there, just
begrudgingly,
great
surely.
graphics and really great player
It's good,
feedback as well. Big focus
Wow.
on tracer fire, making it
It
very
works.
clear who's shooting at you, what you're shooting at. And really, we like to call it internally
That's what
an
it needs to
action
do.
RTS. So very quick to action and a lot of fun just blowing stuff up. So there's some spectacular explosions, some great effects. At this point, I think we're going to, yeah, there, some good boom there. We're going to start to see some flame effects pretty quickly. We just wanted to put a lot of focus on just making the game look beautiful, and a huge focus on control as well. And really, how do you make an RTS for everyone, right? RTS can be a bit of a...
Yeah, a very daunting genre.
Absolutely, right? It can be really challenging. Always my favorite genre when I was growing up. I was a big PC RTS player. So I'm really sensitive to the fact that, you know, a lot of my gamer friends growing up were like,
That was,
I don't know about that.
no,
So
that was Doom
you're
running
gonna
on
see,
the
there's just
Spectrum.
some great effects and some great flame right there. We're going to focus a lot on very
Pretty
classic
cool.
multiplayer modes that RTS players want
Does
and
that just come
expect,
out?
but we've also got a number of brand new
Pre-release.
styles of multiplayer that we're going to be talking more about as we get
It
closer
looks like
to launch.
Wolfenstein, to
That
be
is going to
fair.
be something that a more casual gamer or somebody who's really never played an RTS before can jump in and enjoy.
I actually do want to dig into that.
I don't know if you can see the screen. If you can see the screen.
Yes, making sure that there's stuff for the casual. That's
That
obviously
actually
going to be
looks
tricky
kind
to
of
balance with
impressive.
how many
Yeah.
people are obsessed with the competitive RTS scene.
Yep.
Really
What's
quite
the plan
impressive.
there?
So yeah, no, great question. The plan is really to treat them as different
John, I'm
people,
gonna take a
right?
quick
I mean,
emergency
these are
pee
very,
before
very different
Ubisoft.
kinds of gamers. So
I'm gonna make
we
a
announced
coffee
the
then.
beta today at
We should have a
the
title
Microsoft
card when we're
conference. It's gonna
away.
Focus on a couple of our more competitive classic style RTS modes, like, you know, your classic deathmatch mode, for example, where, you know, you and I build our respective bases, we build our armies, and we go at one another. And, you know, for me, that's going to be one of those very classic modes that your more hardcore RTS player is going to want to enjoy. We've got some other modes coming, again, that we're not talking about at this point, but that are going to be very simple, a lot quicker to get into the action, take some of the strain off of resource management and things like that, so people can just focus on building a really badass army and getting into the action.
And of course, I have to ask about the fact that you're talking about, you know, releasing on different platforms. How did you sort of deal with the control puzzle there?
Yeah, you know, one thing definitely want people to hear is, you know, we're not just porting console controls over to PC. Mouse and keyboard is very, very different, and we wanted to be very, very true to that. We've got a number of things we wanted to take advantage of, like groupings, for example, right? Multiple groupings on a mouse and keyboard. Just the quick nature of it, the ability to navigate the map really, really quickly, as well as a few other PC functions that, again, we're going to be talking a little more about. But yeah, so it's always for me, like, what's the best interface for the console or the PC that you're playing on, right? So we have a specific set of controls for that console controller, and we have a different set of controls for the mouse and keyboard player, so it feels a lot more, you know, specialized.
Well, Dan, I'm really excited you came out to share Halo Wars 2 with us.
My pleasure.
Dan Ayub from 343 Industries. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
See, as I said before, you can never have too many RTSs, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited that we've gotten the chance to see so many of them come out here today. Now, coming up next, there is a game whose title I'm not allowed to say. They informed me that I needed to wait for him to say it, so in 30 seconds, we will be able to find out the title of the upcoming game. It is from the makers of Insurgency, from New World Interactive. Let's welcome Andrew Spearin.
E3 appearance, and truly a big moment for us. It has taken perseverance, adaptation, and teamwork to find success as an indie developer in this highly competitive business. By no coincidence, these are the qualities required to win a match of Insurgency. On behalf of the entire team at New World, led by our game director and CEO, Jeremy Blum, we are proud to reveal today our second game, releasing on Steam Early Access next month. Following the trailer, visit PCGamer.com for an exclusive preview. We hope to see you on the front lines in Day of Infamy.
Radio! Someone find me a bloody radio! Bloody hell! You took the scenic route, didn't you? Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Come on, this is one section. Request immediate barrage on objective Able. Over. All right, lads. We've got a war to win!
We're still going.
Yo.
Yo.
Have you switched over yet, or?
No, not yet.
Right.
I didn't think there was any point until the Ubisoft one's actually starting.
Day of Infamy, I can finally say it. Day of Infamy. Love those beautiful, different environments. Now, coming up next to announce a new game are the makers of Chivalry Medieval Warfare. Join me in welcoming Steve Piggott.
You played Chivalry?
Huh?
You played Chivalry?
Steve,
I own it.
want to ask about your upcoming
So no.
new
I played it for-
game,
no, I've played it for a bit.
Arcane Warfare, where
It's
I
good fun.
understand you're kind of taking the
It was very tricky,
sword-fighting
though.
combat from Chivalry
Oh, yeah.
and putting magic in there.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, Chivalry was the first game we made. It was basically medieval times, sword fighting, first person, multiplayer. What we've done is add magic into that mix and really add the magic into the sword fighting system. So basically in this game, you're just going to be chopping off heads with swords and blasting people apart with magic.
And I mean, the thing that you took the time to talk about a little yesterday with me is that this combat it's very much so about watching the animations of your opponent. It's very deliberate. Talk to me about how you design the combat for this sort of experience.
Yeah, for us it's really important that it has a deliberate feel to it, and that really shines through in the fact that you can block any attack. You can block any projectile, a guy charging at you, it doesn't matter, you can block it. If I hit you before you hit me, it's actually going to interrupt your attack. So people are really wary of each other, they're watching each other. It's a really tense combat situation. It kind of feels like a duel. We are going back and forth, attacking and blocking at the last second. And for us, that's really important to actually sell the deliberateness of the combat and get people to really think about what their opponent's doing before they make actions.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Dark Souls.
Yeah, we like to think of it as bringing like fighting game mechanics into a competitive multiplayer first-person shooter.
Well, we have a chance to look at an exclusive game.
Oh, they changing over.
Marcus. What Marcus?
Rachel,
I was watching that. What did you do?
I have to apologize. I'm very sorry. I know that you wanted to watch the very end of the PC Gamer show. You can at twitch.tv/PCGamer, but the
I'm gonna stop
Ubisoft
and
press
start it
conference
again.
is literally about to begin,
Okay.
and I must find out if Beyond Good and